Last year, I decided to dive headfirst into the world of HEMA. I had been doing classical and Olympic fencing for nearly 2 decades, focusing mostly on Italian dueling saber, sports saber, and a little bit of rapier, but when I decided to start HEMA, I wanted to do longsword, and I laser focused in on it, and that sent me all over the country. I did a bunch of amazing tournaments, I met wonderful people, amazing coaches, I tasted victory and defeat, and it's all led up to this moment, because recently, something happened. I had an epiphany. Something clicked, and I have finally moved on past the plateau. In this video, I am at Nachreisen Historical Fencing, and I'm fencing with head coach Josh Farad. Josh was my first HEMA instructor, and he is the person that I have been training with the most. I go and visit him almost every Friday. It's about a 4-hour drive to get down to him, but it's well worth it. If you watch my fencing, you'll notice that I'm very reactionary. I'm chasing his blade, I'm letting him move me around, and while I have decent footwork, I am fighting against myself with the longsword. I'm used to a more bladed and elongated stance from saber, and it's getting me crossed up and shortening my range in a lot of situations with the longsword. I'm giving ground, I don't have a strong center line, I'm off to the side, and I'm chasing his sword. I'm presenting no threat. There's nothing to de-incentivize him from just blitzing in and getting me. And when I do attack, I only have one intention. I do one thing and then I have to either get out or I get hit. Almost all of my points come from pure athleticism and my footwork from saber, and my blade work is kind of all over the place. Now, don't get me wrong, I wasn't the worst. I came in with a strong athletic background, I did martial arts, and I'd done a lot of fencing, and that absolutely helped, but it wasn't a substitute for good longsword training. So I went out and I got good longsword training. I worked with Charles Turner and Michael Sims from East Texas Historical Fencing, and with them I worked on distance and timing as a weapon, and being tricky and deceitful, conditioning my opponent to respond a certain way and then exploiting it. I worked with Brandon Fahn and Clark Simon at Dallas School of Historical Fencing. With them, I worked on being comfortable, being uncomfortable, staying close to my opponent, making them sweat, making them make mistakes, and being patient and exploiting them. I worked with James Riley of Goliath Historical Fencing Academy. He opened up my mind to the concepts of strong and weak, the bind, indes. This completely changed the way that I fence. I was no longer desperately reacting to everything my opponent did. I was using feeling to sense what they were doing. And I've also trained with a number of other people at events and tournaments and things like that, and it's all added into my Rolodex of things that I can pull out. For a long time, all of these things were separate. I was either fencing under one person's style or another person's style, and they weren't clicking. I couldn't unify the pieces. I couldn't embed it in my own DNA as a fencer. It was always something that I was accessing, an alien third party, and I didn't have it in my bones yet. And then, of course, there is Josh, who is the person I train with the most, and he fills in a key role here. Not only does he teach me the stuff that he uses, but he helps me synthesize everything else I'm learning from everybody else into one usable thing, one usable style that I can then apply myself, my own fencing. Of course, there are many things I still need to learn about each person's system. There's tons of stuff that I'm still learning about James's system, about Josh's system, Brandon and Clark, Michael and Charles. They all have so many more lessons to teach me, and I'm willing and eager to learn. The thing that got me past my plateau was just believing in myself. Understanding that I got this. I understand it. It's in my bones, and I can trust myself. I won't always win. I won't always do the right thing, but I should be proud of what I've done and understand that the systems, the learning, it's all there. What I've achieved is impressive, and I'm proud of myself.